Hello everyone, welcome back. I thought it was a little bit time to actually give a little update on my garden. And so for everyone who's new and who don't know this, I used to live in San Diego on an urban homestead and 600 square feet and grow pretty much all the food that my family of 5 ate. Today I live in Sweden. It's a cool climate and I grow in a patio. I would say maybe it's 30 feet by 6. I'm not so sure, but that's an estimate. And that's my patio. And I also have a balcony where I grow some food. And then also I live in an apartment building where we have a little square and we grow a lot of food together as neighbors. And this is actually the reason that we picked this apartment, because we're growing a lot of berries and vegetables and stuff like that behind me. Anyway, so I want to just talk about it. It's been a really weird summer because we had such a late spring. My seeds were sitting in way too long because I was too scared to put them out because it was so cold. Even as the kids graduated on June 10th, we were wearing jackets. That's how cold it was, and it's unusual for Sweden. Usually we get a little bit of heat already in May, and we did not. So everything came out much later, and because of that, I didn't think I was going to get any tomatoes at all, because I would say until mid-June, July, I had no tomatoes at all on my plants. I had plants, but I didn't have tomatoes. But other things grew really, really well because of that. And the tomatoes have come in. So because we actually finally it got really, really warm beginning of July, the tomatoes are coming in. Much later than normal, but I have heard that we're going to have a much warmer August. So I am hopeful that all the tomatoes will ripen and that I will have more tomatoes. But the tomatoes are going to just be enough for us to eat. It's not going to be anything to preserve this year. That's how it goes. And lucky us that we can still go to the farmer's market or to the store to buy tomatoes. So anyway, so what am I growing and what am I taking care of? So right now I'm in full mode to preserving, and the first of all, it is berries. It's been a great berry year, and which is a good thing. So in the courtyard here with the neighbors, we grow currants. We actually grow white, red, and black currants, and they're delicious. We also have blackberries, blueberries, rhubarbs, cloudberries. No, not cloudberries. I have to look up what those berries are called, but they're like little fussy. And they're called krusbär in Swedish, but I can't come up with it. Anyway, I will put it down here, what they called. Anyway, and as well as raspberries and wild strawberries and strawberries. This year, I've been making a lot of jams, and I've been making saft, which is a Swedish thing that's like a concentrate sweet that you mix with water and becomes like a delicious drink. And so I've been making a lot of that. The kids really like it. And, we don't have to buy sodas. Not that we are big soda drinkers, but in the summertime when it's hot, it's nice to have something a little sweet and cold to drink. But the jam, I keep telling the kids, it's going to be #, we are not going to buy any jam this year. So I have made a lot and lots of jam. So different currant jams. I have a lot of greens growing. I think it's the colder summer made them grow. So a lot of spinach, a lot of kale, a lot of Swiss chard. And so I want to talk about how I preserve these. Obviously we eat them. And these usually can stay much longer into the fall because they can take the cooler weather. Not the Swiss chard as well, but the kale. Last year actually I kale that grew the whole winter because there was a mild winter. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. But what I do is, I don't like to, obviously you can, preserve them by dip them into hot water and then chop them, and you will freeze them. And I have done a lot of that, but my freezer is only so big. So what I like to do is, I like to dehydrate them. So they're almost like chips, kale chips. And you can even make them kale chips. Anyway, and I keep them, store them in the pantry. And what I can do is then, whenever I make a soup or stew or anything that I want to use them, I just crumble them up and add them to it. And that takes a little bit less space. So that's just one of my pro tips, how to preserve things. So, like I said, a lot of berries, and I've been freezing a lot of berries, but Liam's been making a lot of his fruit leathers, which is something the kids really enjoy, and he enjoys making. And we'll also be making, obviously, desserts and crumbles and enjoying them. But I'm freezing a lot of berries, so the freezer is definitely getting full of berries right now, and veggies and other things. We have lots of beans. Been a great year, I should say, for beans and peas. Had a lot of peas and a lot of beans, and I'm harvesting beans right now. And zucchinis, got a lot of zucchinis and cucumbers. So I've been making a lot of pickles. And I'm looking over here, herbs, lots and lots of herbs, which I grow, all year round. So, but it's always fun in the summer because they grow a little bit better. And I've been preserving herbs. You probably saw that in the previous video. If you haven't, go check that out, how I just dry the herbs. And then potatoes and carrots. Holy moly. I think people have this assumption that you can't grow carrots or potatoes unless you have a big farm or something like that, and I am a living proof that's not true. I grow them on my patio, and I get a lot of potatoes. I'm trying to store them. So how I store them, actually, I put them in brown paper bags, and then I put them cool and dark. So that's actually in our basement, and that's what I can store them. And they might get some ice, but you can remove them, or you can save them for planting next year. But we've been eating a lot of potatoes, and they're delicious, and we have more coming in. I've been harvesting, and I actually replanted because I pulled up a lot of potatoes and harvested them, and I replanted, and they're already coming up. And because it's still really, really nice and warm, I think we might actually get another harvest in before the winter. Fingers crossed. We'll see. The carrots. I mean, we've been eating a lot of carrots, and we have way more coming in. It's so much fun. And I want to talk about actually fertilizing, because as you know, I make my own fertilizer. So we do have a bunny. He provides a lot of poop, and that's beautiful fertilizer actually for the garden. My neighbors were looking at us, putting out, I was like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, it's fertilizer, but it looks like poop. And I was like, yes, for my bunny. It's like, is that okay? It's like, yes, for my bunny and a guinea pig, it's okay. Not for many other animals because they carry diseases, but because they are, a vegan, and they don't carry any diseases. These are okay. And it's kind of fun that our bunny is part of the whole cycle, and he gets to eat all the carrot greens. So good for him. Anyway, but other fertilizer that I do is, and I have done videos on this before, and I will put the link below. I make fertilizer from greens like nettles, which grows out here, or actually from dandelion greens, and all I do is I put them in a bucket with water, and I let them sit and it doesn't smell good, so put a lid on, and then that's a beautiful, beautiful fertilizer. I do eggshells, obviously, that I get from my neighbors, only the ones who are organic, of course. And all I do is put them in the oven and to kill any bacteria, and grind them down to a flour, and put them little flour, I guess it's called, powder, and put them in, especially the tomatoes really like them because they need a lot of calcium. And if you get tomatoes, I had this year actually, where they start rotting at the bottom. That is because they have a calcium deficiency, so then add some eggshells. And then third is banana peel fertilizer. So these are the things that I make my own fertilizer. It's a lot cheaper, it's free, it's made usually from things that I would otherwise throw away or compost. So, and of course compost, I should say compost, obviously. I have a beautiful compost. I compost it all winter long on my patio, again showing you can compost even in an apartment. So anyway, I'm looking forward to now we're actually having blackberries right behind me coming in, and blueberries. But we're also obviously foraging a lot, mushrooms and blueberries and herbs and stuff like that from the forest with the nature reserve, which is not too far from us. Anyway, so this is the update on my garden, and just showing that you can grow food no matter where you are. Actually, a friend of mine just up the hill here, and she only has 2 balconies, and she shares daily on Instagram what she's growing there, and it's so inspiring. And I think it's a culture here in Sweden to grow things. If you look around on the balconies, a lot of people are growing on their patios or balconies, or we have a couple of boxes that we share with our neighbors, or in this year we actually could get some boxes, and I was lucky to get 3, and you can grow things in there, and it's kind of fun. It's this whole of going out and hanging out with your neighbors and talking about what you're growing. And in my case, I was helping watering when a lot of them were gone in July. I was watering and taking care of their boxes for them. It's a fun to grow together. For me, it's a really fun thing. So we're eating well. I'm preserving a lot, like I said, berries and stuff like that for making jam and stuff, and pickles. I forgot that I made a lot of pickles. I'm going to make a video on how to make pickles. I make a really easy pickle, but it is so popular. Last year, I think I made 5 jars of pickles, and they were gone like that. So this year, I'm making way many more pickles. And the secret is actually to use the blossom of the dill. It adds really nice flavor to the pickles, at least the ones I make. So anyway, this is just a little short update on the garden. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, and let me know where you're growing and how you're growing and what size are you growing, because people always like, oh, don't you miss your urban homestead? Of course I miss my urban homestead. I miss my chickens. I miss the big garden. But I also am a person who think it's kind of fun challenge to try to grow in different places, because I grew up with my mom growing on our balcony and feeding us for the summer on really good food, and I'm continue that and with my kids, and I know that they appreciate the food, and it's fun to see when eating lettuce and herbs and potatoes from the garden, how much they appreciate this. Anyway, so again, I would like to hear from you guys, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and come back more for fabulous zero waste sustainability family gardening foraging tips. Bye.